All right, Nick, let's talk about one of the most historic programs in all of college football, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. When you put those gold helmets on, it truly does mean something a little bit more. And there's one recruit today that I think has committed to Notre Dame, and he has really found value in that. But Notre Dame found value in him way before he committed as well. They went out, they found a guy who they thought was pretty good, found out maybe a little bit better than they thought when all the dust settled. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it on the other side. This is from over on SB Nation. It says, when On3 released its final player rankings from the 2024 class, the Irish found out there's another 5-star in the class. Offensive tackle Gary Lambert from Massachusetts. This is now their third 5-star in Notre Dame's class, but it's spread out across the recruiting services. Rivals linebacker, I'll pronounce this one the best I can. Kingston Viliamo Asa is a 5-star edge. Bryce Young is also a 5-star. And wide receiver Cam Williams has been back and forth as a 5-star on several occasions, but is now squarely a 4-star across the board as well. So multiple guys at the 5-star level, mainly 3 squarely in that 5-star level across different services. But that's pretty great for Notre Dame as far as they saw something in Gary Lambert that they knew he had potential. They knew he had talent and he was a good player, probably a little undervalued. And it's always nice when someone confirms that to you as well. He was a 4-star, gets graded out as a 5-star at the end of the year. And it just shows Notre Dame has been really great at recruiting this past offseason, especially this 2024 class. If we take a look, number 8 overall class in all of college football. Absolutely phenomenal. Tons and tons of great talent coming to Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think you got to be excited about a lot of these guys, Nick. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Notre Dame, this recent news that we heard about 4-star, now 5-star, but just this whole recruiting class as a whole. But before we hear from you, Notre Dame fans, let us know in the comments below. Great recruiting class. As I said, number 8 in the nation. Let us know who's your favorite recruit coming to Notre Dame for the 2024 season. Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest story about Notre Dame?
So there's a couple things to understand here. You talk about this great Notre Dame recruiting class. There are 4 programs that have more 5-stars than Notre Dame right now in the 2024 class. That's Alabama, obviously at the tail end. It's a transition with Nick Saban gone, but the greatest dynasty in modern college football history. Georgia has won the national title 2 of the past 3 seasons. They're the favorite to win it again this year. You have Texas, a team that recruits better than any program in college football essentially over the past 20 years, especially considering their win total, right? Based on their wins, pound per pound, they're the best recruiting. And Ohio State, obviously one of the biggest recruiting powerhouses in the country. They've been that way for a very long time. Those are the only 4 programs that have more 5-stars than Notre Dame. That's pretty good company. That's a great job by Coach Freeman for what he's done there, specifically getting top flight talent to come up to South Bend. But here's the real important thing. We talk about it sometimes with a lot of these recruits that don't come from these big powerhouse states or schools, right? It's these early on in the cycle, these kids from Florida or Texas or California or Ohio or something like that. They're often rated really, really high just because they get a lot of attention. These services, On3, 24/7 Sports, Rivals, whatever, they spend a lot of time in these traditional recruiting powerhouse states. But there's a lot of great players in other states. And you've got a guy in Lambert right here who's from Massachusetts. Massachusetts, love Massachusetts. All of my in-laws are from New England, right? But it's a terrible high school football state, to be totally honest. It's not great for high school football. But you have a guy here in Lambert who, despite the bad recruiting area around him, the talent around him wasn't that great, is a legitimate 5-star. He's become that as more of these services realize how good of a prospect he is. Notre Dame saw it early. They took advantage of it and they got him when he was a 4-star. Because it's another thing to remember. Once these guys get rated higher and higher and get more attention, a lot more programs get involved. It gets a lot more competitive. Notre Dame, to their credit, recognized there was kind of a hidden gem in the rough there up there in New England, and they did a heck of a job bringing him into the fold before people realized how good of a prospect he could be. And I think that's the secret to Notre Dame's long-term success. For a lot of reasons, mainly academic, to be totally honest, but there's a lot of other reasons too. Notre Dame won't be able to recruit at the same level as Alabama or Georgia. They can recruit great, but it's just hard to recruit as good as those programs can do. But they can get around it by being a smarter recruiting program, finding 3 stars and 4 stars in states where other programs aren't looking. And then when people start to look, they realize, holy cow, this guy's a heck of a player. But by then it's too late. Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman will pull him into the fold. I think that's a secret for Notre Dame returning back to national title contention. And I love the strategy Coach Freeman is doing. And I think it's just another example of the smart moves we've seen under his leadership at the University of Notre Dame.
Yeah, Nick, and you bring up just about how wide and how vast Notre Dame's recruiting has been, and how they like to target a lot of states that people aren't knowingly known for football. You got 3 guys coming from North Carolina, 2 guys from Indiana. That one's pretty much a given. You got Arizona, you got Illinois, Massachusetts, Missouri, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Virginia, all over the country. Notre Dame is able to do that, but they're also able to get in the big states as well. 3 guys from Ohio, 2 from California, 2 from Georgia. They can do it all. And you bring up academics as well. The last school Lambert went on his recruitment before committing Notre Dame was Harvard. So this guy's got the smarts too. Probably a pretty brainy guy. He's also got that +6 wingspan, which also helps. So overall, I think Notre Dame's done a great job, and this is going to be a very talented team in 2024.